So hello everyone, thank you all for coming. I hope really that I will be able to share all my wonderful experience with this virtual mobility grant, especially with ReMO Zotero Library. So I will try to walk you through this library as librarian. And also I would add that I'm working organizational psychologist from Department of Psychology, University of Belgrade. So I also had some thoughts and analysis regarding my field, work in organizational psychology. So let's begin. First of all, you can find ReMO Zotero library on this link. I could give this link in a chat when I finish the presentation.
I will do this right now.
Okay. Okay. I strongly suggest you to use this library because it's really a good source of evidence regarding researchers' mental health and mental health in general. And it is free for use. If you haven't used Zotero software before, I also would like to suggest you to install it because it is really valuable software. It is free for use, and you can use it to sort your literature in a very easy and approachable way. Regarding, you can, for example, search all materials that you store there by title, by creator, by year, and by keywords. And it's really a good thing to do if you're preparing a research article or some project. Also, regarding ReMO Zotero Library, I will walk you through some structural technical aspects, and also I will talk about the content of the library. You will find there now we have something like 321 or 2 items there. They are sorted in folders. Some of the items are not perhaps are not sorted within these folders, but these folders could help you to go through the library and to easily find some interesting articles. I suggested here in a presentation you can browse the library for mental health. Researchers' mental health term, but it's actually this word is not quite used in articles regarding researchers' mental health, because usually you will find there research about burnout, about engagement, about and so on, but they do not label these research as mental health. So if you try to search by this word, you will find, for example, 70 articles that actually have in their title mental health. Once when I started to analyze this library, had 242 items. 80% of these items were directly related to the topic. And when I said related, we also had some unrelated one, but these ones are related to mental health in general. For example, workplace bullying, mental health of graduate students, and I strongly suggest you to consider also these articles, because they could really be inspirational. Also, 50% of those that are directly related to the topic offer some practical solution, which solutions it's really great news, because you will find there descriptions of interventions, programs, policy materials, and so on. Also, I strongly suggest you to give them some sneak peek, because it could help you a lot, and you do not need to start from the scratch if you're thinking about some intervention program and so on. I was wondering, when I was analyzing library material, when did this topic start trending, and what is our oldest article in the library? And I found this one from 2000, Winfield and Jarrett, Occupational Stress in University Staff, International Journal of Stress Management. This study is about Australian university staff, 2,040 participants, and it is a quantitative study. It is interesting to dig in order to find the motives for this study. And the main motive was that in this period, Australian universities have abandoned tenure contract. So when this happened, it obviously started to, this topic started to be inspirational for researchers. So when you change working conditions, mental health could be endangered. So then I started also to search further, and I found some articles from 2004, 2008, but these articles were sporadic. Till 2012, I found more articles that are matched with this year, and then a trend skyrocketed in 2018. I was thinking about this year, 2012, and what came to my mind, maybe the fact that financial crisis took its toll, or something else happened. But for example, what happened this year, 2018, I do not know, but from this year we have lots of articles. And I must highlight that majorly newspaper articles and survey reports. Of course, I was wondering whether we have some older articles regarding this topic, and I found this one from 1986, and I included it in the library. A dimension of stress among university faculty. It is from USA, and this study also included nearly 2,000 professors. What is interesting, I was also wondering what were the motives for this research, and I found these two sentences that are really quite colorful to depict the motives for the study. And the author said, we as academicians and researchers willingly study other groups, yet we seldom take time to look at our own profession. John Gardner once commented that professors are to education as goldfish are to water. They swim in it, but never think to study it. It's interesting. It was interesting to me as working organizational psychologist, because I think that the same thing goes for us. We are studying so many different organizational contexts, but we are not thinking about our profession as frequent as we think about some other professions. So it was really a good starting point for this one. Also, I found the article from 1972. I have also included it in library, and this article is review study And Professor Schall also described his own experience with some problems that he faced at his university. So, I'm sorry, something happened. Okay. Motives for this review article was the fact that in that period, professors started to lose their comfort. And he said something that they needed to exit from the ivory tower and to offer some attractive programs to undergraduates from different cultural and national settings, and to become consultants for different industries. Also, he mentioned multiple roles they should juggle, role constraints, imposed control, and self-control, because he wrote something like that people who start their career in academia expect to have freedom, to have comfort, to study a lot, but it seems that they also have some imposed control. Also, overload increased academic duties. So if we now thinking that we have lots of problems, many of these problems were actually recognized earlier in USA in 1972. Anyhow, I added these two articles in the library so you can find them if you love history as much as I do. So you can read it really and enjoy them. Regarding our ReMO library, in our library you will find the articles dealing with problems of researchers from Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Netherlands, Norway, South Africa, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, I'm sorry, UK and United States. There are some reports and articles in which you will find the fact that researchers used some sampling procedures in which they gave, for example, link toward questionnaire to some large community of PhD students or researchers, and you can't guess their cultural background, nationality, and so on. So this list could be even larger, but you can't see it clearly from the report. I was wondering why these countries, and there's one thing to add. For example, from Czech Republic, from Croatia, from Turkey, we have, for example, 2 or 3 studies. This is the list of all countries that I could find. Maybe I skipped something, but their frequency is not equal. So I was wondering why these countries. Maybe in these countries they have competitive research environment, more competitive research environment. Maybe they're the most ready to make some changes regarding researchers' practice, and maybe they have the largest and the most diverse research community and PhD programs. These questions are just my hypothesis. I'm not quite sure why we miss some data from some countries. Also, I was wondering where to find the material regarding researchers' mental health, and I made a list of journals in which you can find this topic. I will not read this list to you. I will just let you see it. I have 3 slides with this list, and maybe you will notice that regarding this topic, you will find you will find articles in journals that are related to higher education, that are very specialized. Also, you will find in educational journals, in work in organizational psychology journals, and in some general ones. But it seems that this topic did not embed in any particular field, so it's a bit scattered. So this is the list of journals in which you can find articles related to mental health of researchers. So I presume that I presume that you had time to look at them. I'm sorry. Where else you can find the articles regarding this topic? You can find it in science and nature blogs, and I think that these blogs are very inspirational, because you will find there some concepts and some fresh thoughts from researchers and their ongoing problems. And I think really that you will be able to generate some interesting new hypotheses. For example, the courage to leave, I'll work on it over the weekend, whether PhD leads to enjoyable jobs, or research is set up for bullies to thrive. I'm sorry, my PhD thesis was about workplace bullying, so naturally I was attracted to this topic, but you can find there many other interesting interesting titles. I think that these blogs are really good starting point in search for some fresh ideas or highly relevant topics. This was some titles that I found very interesting, dealing with bullies and jerks in science. Researchers pay the cost of research, how I tackle post-PhD imposter syndrome, and so on. So the first part was about some... I'm sorry. So the first part was a bit technical one, and the second one, I would like to give you some of my insights about the content, and to give you a few words about the content of material that I saw and trends. Of course, my questions when I was analyzing the literature were, for example, how is researchers' mental health defined? Also, what are the indicators of researchers' mental health, and which theories form a backbone of all research? And regarding the first question, I found these two definitions. One is about mental health, and another one is about well-being. And I wanted to estimate which one is more suitable to depict all articles that I saw. The first one is definition from World Health Organization, and it is said that mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stress of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. The second one is about well-being and the factors that made well-being. For example, the various life non-work satisfactions enjoyed by individuals, like satisfaction or dissatisfaction with social life, family life, recreation, spirituality, and so on. Work or job-related satisfactions as satisfaction and or dissatisfaction with pay, promotion opportunities, the job itself, co-workers, and so forth, and general health. My estimation is that actually many articles and many research topics could fall under this second one definition, because usually you will find in articles these factors that make well-being. Also, there are some articles regarding engagement, well-being in general, so on. But also you will find the ones that really tackles these factors that make well-being. I was also wondering what else do we need in these articles, and I was thinking about the context, because somehow context is not highlighted enough, in my opinion, and I found this definition of healthy workplaces, which I feel that should be also studied. So you will find here a definition of healthy workplaces. These workplaces are those ones in which workers are treated with respect, and organizational members engage in activities that foster the psychological and physical health. These workplaces are dedicated to promoting and supporting the physical and psychological health and well-being of their employees, while simultaneously incorporating solid business practices to remain as an efficient and productive business entity and having a positive impact on their clients and community. I think that this definition and these factors should be or could be very inspirational, both for researchers and the ones who want to deal with policies. I'm sorry. My presentations. Okay. Also, I made a list of some interesting concepts that were mentioned in articles, and I also made a very large list of them. I also think that these concepts could be quite inspirational for future studies. Like you will find in some articles, maladaptive and adaptive perfectionism, mentorship, professional identity, abusive supervision, academic bullying, bounded ethicality or ethical blind spots, whether we see something as ethical or not ethical, and whether this is related to some group dynamic. Also power abuse, psychological hardiness, facades of conformity, false representations that we have about different people, social connectedness, equality, diversity, and inclusion, prototypes of ideal academic. This topic is really interesting in context of gender, for example. Also, mentor support and emotional labor. Then I found these concepts, hyper-competitive culture, a transition from being a team member to a team leader, career transitions, disillusions, especially when it comes to PhD students. Also, this concept of school work-life balance for PhD students or for everyone who actually study while they work. Also, new managerialism in academia. I'm sorry. Mental health literacy, multiple dependencies in academia, isolation, academic excellence as inherently gendered, and final ones, sharing vulnerability, courage to leave, the challenges of pandemic, inclusive science, kindness in science, value of PhD inside and outside of academia. This is a very interesting question for every PhD student. Whistleblowing, transparency, and imposter syndromes. These concepts are also the ones that are not quite analyzed, and you can use it in your research or in your thoughts about future research. My third question was whether I can find some theories and concepts that could be offered as some possible framework and for future research. And I found also some theories that are mentioned in articles. The first one that I found was the theory of reasoned action from Fishbein and Eisen. There you will find in this research framework, they study attitudes and norms that form our behavioral intentions and the relationship between attitudes and behaviors with human action. Also, there are lots of articles regarding career insecurity in the context of boundaryless career and protean career. So regarding boundaryless career, it is a concept that says that workers can move across boundaries between employers and work units. I'm not quite sure whether this concept is good or bad for researchers. Also, protean career is about frequent change and self-invention, self-management. As I said, I'm not quite sure whether these concepts are really preferable one when it comes to career of researchers. Maybe researchers prefer ivory tower career or traditional career because I think that this career could also lead to some additional stress and burnout. Also, I found self-determination theory that was mentioned in many articles. It deals with basic needs satisfaction. These basic needs are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And regarding autonomy, again, also I'm not quite sure whether and to what extent having autonomy is good or bad for a researcher's mental health. Here you will find some additional theories, and that could help you to structure your research questions. For example, job demands resources theory that depicts interplay between organizational demands and organizational and personal resources. This theory is also, let's just say, good avenue for interventions for making interventions regarding researchers' mental health. Also, you will find in the library many titles regarding burnout, and in the context of burnout, you have this conservation of resources theory, which is actually about asking ourselves and others which resources do we use and how we replenish them at the end of our working day. Also, I found social exchange theory that is about evaluating costs and rewards of a relationship, and empowering leadership theory. It's interesting, this concept is maybe more suitable for academic environment, because it is about sharing power, not just transitional, transactional leadership, but how we should and could share our power in equally competent team. Regarding some possible gaps in the literature, as I said, all above mentioned concepts are still under development. Many of them are raised as concerns in newspaper articles, so you can use them freely in your research, and you will not be, you can be probably the only one who started to thoroughly analyze some of them. Also, regarding theoretical embeddedness of phenomenon, I think that in articles you will not find the map of all possible theories that could grasp the phenomenon. So there is a lot of room for doing such a thing. I was wondering, for example, whether career development theories could help in understanding of researchers' mental health. For example, studying different career paths, development stages of researchers, and implications of different developmental tasks on mental health of researchers. Nature of career choice also. Naturally, I'm attracted to this topic, workplace bullying in academia. I haven't found any article that tackle this topic in context of affective events theory. This theory is about relations between some workplace events with affective reactions. And I think that this theory also could be of a help. Also, regarding PhD students, maybe the topic of psychological contract could be interesting. And in general, you will find there many studies that tackle PhD students. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe this sample is more approachable. But definitely it would be interesting to research mental health in an academic institution as a whole. So I think that it would be great to include graduated students, maybe also their parents, and their near environment, PhD students, senior researchers, university teachers, staff services, technicians. You won't find many studies that include staff services and technicians in their sample. Also management. Regarding PhD students and, for example, senior researchers, I'm not quite sure, for example, whether motives for dropping out from studies are the same as dropping out from workplace in which you are for 10 or 15 years. I'm not quite sure whether this dropout of PhD students is more more like dropping out of graduate students. Maybe it's not only about some problems with their work environment, but maybe rather the fact they can't find themselves in the topic of their PhD studies, or maybe they want to change their professions because something other came up. As I said, I think that really it would be helpful to study mental health in an academic institution as a whole. And finally, I will tackle this issue regarding how literature is sorted. Because I mentioned to you at the beginning that we have some folders, and that some of our literature is sorted in these folders. So I'll quickly go through them. You will find 11 or 12 folders, I think 12 folders. You have this folder, research articles and books related to topic. You will find there all journals, all manuscripts and books dealing with mental health of researchers. Also, you have this one, survey reports related to topic. Those surveys are usually financed by some large national funds, relevant institutions, universities, civil sector organizations. Also, you can find there review articles related to topic, review articles published in scientific journals. This folder, magazine articles, blogs related to topic, they're really inspirational. You will find there really striking reports, views, commentaries that have caught the public interest. So it could be a really good source for generating some new hypotheses. Also, you have here this folder, inspirational articles and materials. There you will find journal manuscripts not related to the topic of researchers' mental health, but containing some inspirational ideas and concepts that could ignite future research. Also in the library, you can find ReMO materials, all the relevant presentations, materials, linked to our YouTube channel, campaigns, and webinars. Oh, I'm sorry. What else? You can find folder about COVID-19 and the researcher mental health. There you can find all relevant materials related to current pandemic and researchers mental health. This folder, cultural diversity, was very difficult to put together because there you will find some articles, reports, materials related to researcher mental health from different cultural contexts. But there you won't find as many articles as you can expect. Also, this folder would be of a help. And this folder needs more resources, mental health resources for researchers. The idea was to find some resources where researchers could find support and help if they need. Also, this folder, policy impact, is also need your help. We are searching for ways to support policy development related to researcher mental health. Also, this folder, some practical solutions. It is really interesting one. As I said, there is no need to start from the scratch. We have already some practical solutions and interventions that are at our disposal. And if you have some more ideas, please let us know. You can suggest the reference via our ReMO Slack channel, or you can send us an email. And yes, I strongly suggest you to do so if you have some ideas, because we really need that our library is full of evidence-based regarding researcher mental health. I haven't said why I use this through the library looking glass. I felt a bit like Alice, I must confess, when I started to analyze all these materials. My first association was this Alice cat, Cheshire cat, because I thought that I will find only one path that can lead me somewhere, but actually no. I found many paths and many ideas, and I was a bit confused, but as it is said in The Name of the Rose from Umberto Eco, books are not made to be believed, but to be subjected to our inquiry. Thank you so much. If you have any suggestions, you can find me here. This is my email address. And I need to say thank you to Radenka, to Brian, to Stefan, to Ivana, to Sofia, and to Maya. I had the great pleasure to discuss my inquiry with them, and I was offered also with some interesting insights from them, and that really helped me in making this presentation. So thank you all.